I'll have to ask Brandon about, because my husband's a huge Alabama fan.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. He played on the like 10 years ago, so they're having their like 10-year anniversary of their national team. So you guys knew that I requested it.
Yeah. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He's like, I know you don't plan your over a week out of your
Hello,
life.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
I don't
10.
know why you asked far out. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing this weekend.
But that was the one day.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm gonna go to Birmingham.
The FBI tells me they searched 2 businesses, one here in Greenwood and another all the way out in Orangeburg. But there was also a lot of commotion here at this house behind me. Uh-oh. We good? We good over there? Yes, hello. Set Iris up a little bit. Yeah. That was the FBI, guys.
The 10 o'clock news starts right now on Fox Carolina, the local station.
The FBI and Homeland Security raid a home and upstate business. Tonight, 2 men are in custody, and we're live in Greenville with the latest on the investigation.
You just look at your neighbors every day and you just say, wow, I just can't believe this happened.
Plus, police say a man is locked up after kicking down a daycare door in broad daylight. We're talking to parents about the break-in. And a local paramedic shot to death, and the case has never been closed. His sister has a message tonight.
It's hard for us because we have no answers.
The 10 o'clock news starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Cody Alcorn.
And I'm Victoria Carmen. We want to start with a look at your forecast tonight.
That's right. Chief Meteorologist Kendra Kent standing by in the Weather Center. Kendra, we had some rain this afternoon, but the radar looks pretty clear tonight.
Yeah, really calmed down. The storms that were near Charlotte, in fact, have moved on quite a bit to the east. So we're looking nice and clear tonight. Last night we had those heavy storms around Greenwood. Not so much this evening. It is muggy out there, though. Notice the greens around Greenville, Spartanburg. That's just some clutter near the GSP radar site. So no actual rain falling. It's a pretty nice night out there. Warm and muggy, though. 84 in Greenville, 82 in Anderson, looking at 74 for Asheville. So as the kids are hitting the bus stop tomorrow morning, once again, it should be dry. We'll have to worry about the afternoon storms, but at least in the morning, as you're getting into that routine, you don't have to worry about rain slowing you down to get the kids to school or get to the bus stop. Upper 60s to low 70s expected across our area. So the heat and the humidity, it'll still be the big story as we go into tomorrow, and with heat index values in the mid 90s. But then later on toward the weekend, rain chances go up. This could impact high school football. We'll talk about that and the weekend. Wet weather is expected, and that could keep temperatures down quite a bit. In fact, a cold front moves through to make it feel like fall by Sunday, but unfortunately it won't be crisp, sunny fall weather. It will be kind of rainy fall weather, but you know, we're getting closer, guys, so we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Kendra. Well, in tonight's top story, 2 men from Greenwood behind bars tonight after the FBI raided a home in the Hunters Creek subdivision of Greenwood, along with multiple businesses across the Palmetto State, including a local Dairy Queen. It happened around 9 this morning, and officials confirmed crews from the FBI, SLED, and Department of Homeland Security were out searching into the afternoon.
The 2 men arrested have not been identified, and the FBI won't say why the raids were carried out. The Bureau says, though, terrorism was not involved. As you can imagine, though, neighbors pretty shaken up, and Matt, that entire community really want to know what in the world went down there this morning.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Cody, Tori. In total, the FBI tells me they raided 2 businesses. You mentioned the Dairy Queen here in Greenwood and also another convenience store all the way out in Orangeburg. But there was a lot of commotion this morning right here at this house. This is in Oakmont Circle, where neighbors tell me they were surprised and a little afraid to be woken up by a caravan of law enforcement vehicles and crime tape this morning.
Around 9 a.m. Wednesday, Kennedy Reynolds says a strange sound outside his home snapped him out of his morning routine.
I noticed a lot of traffic coming by my house, and normally I know all of my neighbors when we coming and going. Something didn't seem right to me.
When he walked out of his kitchen and peeked up the road, he says he certainly didn't expect to see this.
I knew something that was going on because it wouldn't take that many cars to come out to like if somebody had a misunderstanding.
This video shot by a resident tells the story. A large search party raiding the home of his neighbor was at his doorstep.
And they stayed all day mostly.
FBI officials confirmed 2 men are now behind bars. The Bureau says their agents, with the help of SLED and DHS, raided this home in Oakmont Circle along with the Dairy Queen off the 217 bypass.
It's kind of scary.
At this point, it's not clear what agents were searching for at either place or why the men were arrested. But the field office in Columbia does say they also raided a quick pantry in Orangeburg related to their activity in Greenwood.
When something like this happens, you know, it's kind of like put a bad taste in your mouth because you just look at your neighbors every day and you just say, wow, I just can't believe this happened.
Reynolds says he knew his neighbors, whom he describes as quiet, and never saw this coming.
I always speak to them, they speak to me, and I just didn't ever know nothing like this would take place.
That's why he says this was so shocking to everyone.
We want to know what's going on because we live here.
Right now, he says he and his neighbors are just waiting to find out more about what brought the feds to their street.
I just hope everybody can just look at the neighborhood, you know, like we always did.
So the FBI field office in Columbia tells me that those 2 men who were arrested will have their first appearance in court in Columbia tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. At that time, they tell me we will know who they are and what they're charged with. In Greenwood tonight, Matt Koufax, Fox Carolina, the 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for that report tonight, Matt. Well, we're covering our counties tonight. In Abbeville County, SLED is charging a Calhoun Falls man with murder after a stabbing. Police were called to a home on Edgewood Circle last Friday, where they say a man and a woman got into an argument and ended up stabbing each other. Well, the woman, Jessica Alcombe, passed away at home. Police say this man right here, Robert Martin, was taken to the hospital, and once he was released, they charged him with murder. He's being held in the Abbeville County Detention Center.
Well, no charges will be filed after a gun went off during a recent gun show in Greenville. It happened over the weekend at the Greenville Convention Center. An officer working nearby heard the gun go off and rushed over. Officers say a teenager picked up a vendor's gun and it went off while he was handling it. Officers determined it was an accident. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Well, he was supposed to be serving upstate communities, but now he's accused of sexually assaulting a teenager. Sean Jenkins was a Travelers Rest police officer and Greenville County paramedic, but he's lost both jobs after detectives say he told a 17-year-old male to, quote, strip or be tased. The warrant says after the teen stripped, he performed sex acts with Jenkins. Jenkins is out of jail tonight on bond.
Greenville police say a 4-year-old is recovering from a dog bite tonight. Officers say they got a call a child was bitten in the head at a home near Parkins Mills Road. The 4-year-old was taken to the hospital and will be okay. The dog since has been quarantined and officers are still investigating.
Well, new details tonight at 10, a scary situation at an upstate daycare. Listen to this. Police say a man broke into a classroom. We're told Reginald Smith beat on the door yesterday, then climbed through a window at Boulevard Baptist Church. Once inside, police say he kicked open a door to the K4 classroom. Now, at this hour, we do not have his mug shot. Police say he hasn't had a bond hearing because he's not cooperating with them.
And tonight we're hearing it from the pastor of this church where it all happened. Fox Carolina's Brooklyn Cromer is live in Anderson tonight. And I know you spoke with some parents earlier, Brooklyn. What do they have to say about this?
Well, as you can imagine, this was a huge scare for those parents. But one parent I talked to tells me the teachers did what they did and they kept their kids safe. They say that they're thankful nothing happened to the kids.
A scary start to the school year.
I was concerned not only as the pastor of the church where this happened, but as a father who has a child who has just been enrolled in the program.
Anderson police say the Child Enrichment Center at Boulevard Baptist went on lockdown Tuesday after a man broke into the school, then got into a K4 classroom. Pastor Austin Carty says it's a scary situation.
This gentleman did try to break into a door. That did not work. He was able to scale a fence, and he found a window that was unlocked, that he was able to climb through the window, and that's how he got in.
Police say the suspect, now identified as Reginald Smith, began banging on a window and throwing toys at the door before finding an open window and getting inside the church.
It's terrifying as a parent to think that anybody could get in to a place that our children are entrusted, and we are of the belief that there's no one that can get in that doesn't have authorization.
Police say Smith ran down the hallway and kicked in the door of a K4 classroom before making a run for it, but was taken down minutes later. Pastor Carty says an Anderson County deputy, also a parent with a child at the school, rushed to the church as soon as he heard what was going on.
The deputy that showed up on site also has a child here, and he is a hero. It's Master Deputy Josh Scott. He was here within minutes. He chased this gentleman down. He's apprehended because of Josh's bravery.
The pastor says Smith claimed he was trying to find the sanctuary, but he was arrested and taken into custody by Anderson police. He's charged with third-degree burglary, and tonight we're still waiting on his mugshot. Live in Anderson, Brooklyn Cromer, Fox Carolina, the 10 o'clock news.
Well, 6 months since an upstate first responder was shot and killed. And only on Fox tonight, we're hearing from his family as investigators continue to piece together what happened that night.
Plus, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says no to a bill that would require sheriffs to hold inmates for immigration officials. Now, what a local sheriff is saying about that decision.
And rain chances will increase and peak this weekend. We'll talk about how it could affect your plans coming up.
You're watching Fox Carolina News, the local station.
Welcome back. Tropical storm Chantal moving through the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean right now. Now, the storm is expected to slow down and downgrade to a tropical depression and then start heading south by the end of the week. Thankfully, we should not feel any of the effects in our area, but it is something a lot of folks are watching and talking about tonight.
Yeah, good thing we won't be seeing too much of that at all.
No, not at all. And but it gets your attention when another storm gets named. And we haven't had a whole lot this season so far. I want to show you a map that gives you a little bit of perspective. Terribly drawn circle there, but you can see I'm trying to kind of circle how small Chantal is, and you can see how far it is away from the United States. Let's zoom in, check out the latest stats. It looks like winds at about 40 miles per hour. Not super organized, but I'll tell you what, it was crazy yesterday how quickly that storm became just a minor disturbance to a tropical storm. So goes to show you that you always have to remain weather aware because these things can develop very quickly. But fortunately, it's in the middle of the Atlantic and is not expected to turn back toward the United States. Will likely be a remnant low as we go towards Saturday early afternoon. So good news with that, but we have our third named storm of the season. As we go through our day tomorrow, we will have a chance for a little bit of storminess, 30% chance of rain by the time we get into the second half of the day. Of course, you can always head to foxcarolina.com for your interactive radar anytime, as well as our hour-by-hour forecast as you're going throughout your day. And you can download the Fox Carolina News app as well. Just go to the App Store and find us. It is free, and it is a great way to stay in contact with the weather, kind of know what's going on when you are on the go. So we will continue to have this chance for pop-up storms, guys, and the chance grows even more as we head into this weekend. So we'll discuss all that and some cooler weather, at least it'll come with. I just wish we could get some blue sky with that cool weather, but not just yet.
No. Thanks, Kendra. Well, a story you'll see only on Fox. We're sitting down with Rodney Gilmer's sister and mother as SLED continues to investigate his death. 6 months ago, we told you about Rodney, a beloved first responder and flight paramedic for ANMED. And that's the same place he passed away after deputies say he was shot and killed in his own home. Well, Gilmer's sister is giving us new details about that terrible night and where the investigation stands.
Fox Carolina's Shell Ramin sat down with her and Rodney's mother earlier today. She's here in studio tonight. So, Shell, it's been half a year since this happened, and it looks like it's still fresh with those women there.
Yeah, it absolutely is, Cody. You know, his sister Joyce and his mom, they go to his grave site 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day just to visit Rodney. His mom used to have her phone ring every morning right around 7 o'clock. That's when his shift would end, to hear about all the people he saved overnight. Now, they say their world is silent without this vivacious and happy-go-lucky jokester around.
Nobody's perfect, but in my eyes, he walked on water.
Just a little over a half a year ago, Joyce Gilmer lost her best friend, her brother, Rodney Gilmer.
Anybody can ask you or tell you, if you ask them, if you have a car accident or something and you need somebody, that they want Rodney to be on that helicopter.
A seasoned paramedic and first responder, Rodney's last role was as a flight medic for ANMED.
My mother doesn't know until she's lost a job.
On February 18th, Rodney was taken to ANMED by his very own.
Everybody's lives changed in just minutes.
Joyce says she was on the phone with Rodney moments before deputies would come to his Anderson County home along Whirlaway Circle.
Our actual conversation was only 2 minutes. And then 25 minutes of silence.
Deputies said they got a call about a domestic dispute. Joyce says she heard Rodney go back into his home for his wallet.
He told me to hold on. He had to go back in, and he never came out.
Watching videos like this one, Rodney singing next to his daughter with so much life, make this family feel like some days he's still here.
His oldest daughter is 17, and she graduated a year early from high school, and he missed out on that. He's going to miss out on their graduation from college, their weddings.
6 months later, this family says he's still flying high, watching over them, but from a different place.
We need closure.
And now with SLED still investigating and a phone conversation never finished, this family needs closure, and they're pushed for answers to show one thing.
The last thing he would tell is, "I love you." And so I wish I could have done that. And if he was here, I would beg him not to leave us.
Now, Joyce goes on to say several patients who he saved, some who lives hours away, came out to pay their respects at Rodney's funeral. They deemed Rodney the decision maker in the family, and now with this ongoing investigation, they wish they could turn to him and say, now what? And I reached out to SLED for comment on this case, but haven't heard back quite yet. Cody and Tori, back to you.
Shell, thanks. Covering the Carolinas tonight at 10, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is saying no to a bill requiring sheriffs to hold detainees for immigration officials.
Now, the legislation would have let officials fire sheriffs who refuse to cooperate with ICE. The Republican-led House passed the bill yesterday, but Governor Cooper vetoed it. Many Republican lawmakers are upset with the decision.
On the way down here, we learned that North Carolina has a sanctuary governor. As Governor Cooper has vetoed House Bill 370 that would have simply required sheriffs in North Carolina to honor ICE detainers, something that almost every sheriff in the state is already doing.
Governor Cooper defended his veto in a statement, saying the bill was more about scoring political points and creating division in the state. The House may try to override the veto, but it likely wouldn't pass.
A sheriff in western North Carolina says he's happy with the governor's decision. Buncombe County Sheriff Quentin Miller thanked Governor Cooper. He did release a statement saying, quote, sheriffs across North Carolina must have the ability to determine how to ensure the safety and security for all members of their community as they were elected to do. It is vital that members of our immigrant community can call the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office without fear when they are in need of assistance from law enforcement. My office will continue to comply with all applicable state and federal laws. However, we do not make or enforce immigration laws. That is not part of our law enforcement duties. We have more on the sheriff's thoughts on foxcarolina.com. Well, coming up in this week's Caught in the Act, imagine hitting the highway on an e-scooter. Well, that's what these guys did. How they got there and why police are using this as a teaching moment. Plus,
I mean, he will never, ever, ever ride the bus to school ever again.
A mother is upset after her son was put on the wrong school bus and dropped off at the wrong home. Well, we're hearing from the Pickens County School District about how this all happened.
and a Gateway detour is underway right now. It started 20 minutes ago. I-85 South through the Gateway project is closed. The closure kicked off at 10 o'clock tonight, and it will go until 5 a.m. We have more information on foxcarolina.com, but this is all because they are setting concrete beams tonight for an overpass. You're watching Fox Carolina, the local station.
Caught in the Act on Fox Carolina is sponsored by IHC Security. Your peace of mind is our top priority.
Charges have been filed against an upstate man deputies say took them on a chase across county lines.
The Anderson County Sheriff's Office says the chase started around 8:30 last night. It went into Greenville County, and then deputies set up near Anderson Road and Jamison Drive to try and find the suspect. Apparently he jumped out of his vehicle. About a half hour after that, the suspect was taken down, and tonight he got a free picture courtesy of the Sheriff's Office. There is Dale Walker. He's being held in the detention center where he's expected to face charges of receiving stolen goods, failure to stop, and resisting arrest.
Clemson police need your help finding a person of interest in a stolen credit card case. Here's a look at that guy. Officers say he tried to buy gift cards at Walgreens using a stolen card. So if you know who this is or who it could be, please call Clemson police. Deputies are looking for equipment stolen from a local rec center in Anderson County. The Sheriff's Office says a commercial lawnmower and pitching machine were taken from a storage unit at the Parker Bowie Rec Complex. Deputies believe they were stolen between last Friday and this past Monday. If you have any information about the thefts, please call the Sheriff's Office.
Well, it's pretty common to see electric scooters in big cities, but not so much when it comes to the interstate. That is until tonight. The Sheriff's Office in Wisconsin says these three men used their scooters to ride down a major interstate. They told the Sheriff's Office they were tourists visiting town to see the Harley-Davidson Museum when their GPS told them to get on a busy interstate. Officials say the men crossed over 3 lanes on the interstate where cars were going by them at 50 miles an hour. It looks like they like to ride in the grass too. So each of them got a $200 ticket, and it's unclear if they ever found their way to the museum. But there you go. Speaking of odd decisions, police in California are scratching their heads tonight over how one man tried to fix some flat tires. So here we go. Officers posted these pictures showing a driver who decided to stuff gauze in the hole of the tire with Band-Aids all over the ground. Police say they got a call about a suspicious person next to the parked SUV. So when they got there, they found this guy trying to use the Band-Aids and gauze to fix 2 flat tires. He was arrested, and of course, he was on drugs. That's why you do not do drugs. All right. Speaking of drugs, overdoses on the rise in the upstate. Coming up next, Fox Carolina's Kayla Conboy telling us how a local recovery center is fighting back, trying to help people who cannot get off these drugs.
Plus, Greenville County School has a new addition this year, how this sensory room is here to help your child stay focused.
Closed captioning sponsored by Bojangles. It's Bo time.
In a Fox Carolina investigation, overdoses are at an all-time high across the state. And records show in Greenville County alone, they're up 80%. And those we talk to who work with recovering addicts say South Carolina is far behind the times, saying other states are saving hundreds of lives with community Narcan, and that's something that has yet to be used in South Carolina.
Fox Carolina's Kayla Convoy is looking into this issue. She's in our newsroom tonight. So Kayla, what's being done to try to fix this?
Well, 2 recovery centers in Greenville County were just approved to hand out Narcan to affected areas, and that's what's been successful in other states. Right now, they're just waiting on the state's funding, hoping it will make a difference sooner rather than later.
Fentanyl. It's been a game changer, taking lives and leading to a record number of overdoses.
The scary thing about this, the thing that really is concerning everybody, is the ages that are affected are between 35 and 44. These are people that have middle school children. So these are parents that are dying and leaving children without mothers and fathers.
And the numbers keep skyrocketing, up across the state for the 4th year in a row. Mike Todd says addiction has impacted his life for as long as he can remember, saying trends are changing.
I'm excited that my mother's in recovery. She got in recovery at 70 years old. She's now 74. I'm obviously in recovery, and I have been since 1990, but in the last few years and working with Freedom Recovery Center, I have experienced families that have lost sons. 21 years old was the last one.
And fentanyl is to blame for most of them. Mike, the executive director of Freedom House of Greenville, believes he knows the solution: community Narcan.
We would be able to get trained with the state and get armies of people out. I don't care if we've got to knock doors. I mean, if we've got to go from door to door in these highly affected areas. I literally had a lady the other day, I was in one of these areas, that could stand in her front yard and point to houses that had had overdoses.
He says he was handpicked to go to an event recently in Las Vegas. There was one person in each state who worked in recovery there, and he says that's when he learned other states have been using community Narcan for years, and their overdose numbers are dropping.
What I heard from them was like somebody from New York said, you know, you guys are about 5 years behind.
His center has been approved along with only one other center in Greenville County, but now it's a waiting game. They are still waiting on the paperwork and the funding to come through, but he's hopeful this is a solution that leads to getting the overdose numbers back down. Guys, back to you.